worse. So at like the week after that report was issued, I can't remember how many pages it was. It was several hundred pages. And I went through it with a fine-tooth comb. Then DARPA came out. They said that they wanted to sell food have food being sold by the molecule, because the whole thing right now is breaking everything down to the molecular level and then rebuilding it the way that man.
Pat, but if it's a natural pig, I can't patent. So one of the things you talked about, I can bring this up too, and we can talk a little bit more about it, is this getting rid of meat. And this is the paper you turned me on to, where they're talking about getting rid of cows, getting rid of meat. The Impossible Burger comes out now, and it's made from cloned cells. It doesn't cost them anything to make these Impossible Burgers, which are actually cloned from a chicken breast or a piece of beef, and they clone it over and over and over and over again. And then they add a little protein, a little garden-based thing, the yada yada till it is. But can you talk a little bit more about this document again, about how these micronutrients were going to be allocated? Is this like in these documents here? Is that they're going to tie it to your microbiome? They're going to tie it to your own DNA specifically, and your own doctor is going to prescribe this specific micronutrient that's insect-based or algae-based.
You did a great summary. What you will be allowed on the other side of coronavirus, when you get out of your cage, if you take if you're tested, if you take your vaccine, and if you have your sensor and you're allowed out, then you will be allowed 1.2 ounces of either a laboratory protein or an insect protein. No meat. We cannot take anything from nature at all. As a matter of fact, to save the planet, and this is not something we voted on, but this is being implemented right now, we have to give up half of the footprint that we have right now. So just imagine your house where you're listening to this right now and cut it in half. That's what you have. And then you can't take, from this day forward on, you cannot take anything from nature. So if seeds are from nature, you can't do that anymore. Food, chicken, beef, your favorite kale salad comes from nature. We can't do that anymore. So you get 1.2 ounces of that every 7 days. That's what you get, is 1.2 ounces. That's not very much. And then the document, the United Nations document several years ago said that you will get 36 grams. That's about the size, 3/4 of a one of those little granola bars, but it doesn't have any sweetener. It's just carbs. You get one of those every 21 days. So you get 1.2 ounces of a protein, and you get 36 grams of a carbohydrate every 21 days. And that is what you're going to have access to. There's no more going to the ground, because all of that comes from nature. And they have made a firm commitment that by 2030, not one person in this world will be eating anything from nature. And I really highly recommend, right after the hard lockdown, after we've had no access to our food, our meds, maybe our power and water may go too, and we've taken our, had a COVID-19 test, we've taken a vaccination, and we've got the sensor. What we're going to do is we are no longer going to be allowed to go into Costco. They will determine what we need. We'll be given this. We'll drive up, just like the drive up testing sites. This is a beta run. We'll drive up. We'll call ahead. We'll say, I'm Mrs. Solom, and I'm coming to get some groceries. They're already already going to predetermine what we're going to get. They're going to hand us a bag. We give them the money, and that's it. Then we're off. And there may be delivery services too, but there's no more going to Costco. There's no more going to Albertsons. There's no more going to Safeway. There's no more going into a store. You just drive up and you exchange. And so that then whatever's in that bag is what you get. It's a form of rationing like World War II. You know, maybe you'll get
prescribed a certain food based on your own DNA, and so you're going to have to pick up like you're doing like a drive-through prescription place. So what people really need to be understanding here too is we're not going to have restaurants again. Restaurants are done. You know, all of these things we've enjoyed in the past. I mean, it's really hard for people, you know, hit them hard, hit them fast. And so this whole recycling, we're not going, the restaurateurs are out of business. The food supply, I just showed how they've nationalized the food delivery systems. So you can see how all these pins have been put into place now, and that, you know, the future of food, as that document refers to in the strategic intelligence document, is that we're all going to be on these controlled diets that are synthetic, transhumans, connected to the entire source of things, the Internet of Things, and that unless we submit to their allegiances and their ways,